website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, so in the last video, previous video, I promised you some examples of stuff I did to integrate my techniques, my scale shapes, my everything, my rhythm skills with my, and so on. And if you haven't watched that video and the previous one before that, go back and do it. Do it now, because it's important information. So let's look into what I did. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples that I just did, right off the bat with no preparation. Just thought, hey, I need to integrate these things. And the point of integration is, of course, to have all your sub-skills of the overall soloing skills come together as one. Because that's what we want. We can't have all the ingredients of the cake lying on the table and then expect a cake to emerge. We must combine them, integrate them, and put them in the oven. And that's what we're going to do in this session. It's going to be a little bit quick because this is YouTube, and people don't have an attention span that goes beyond 10 minutes. So let's get started. Come closer. So let's start in the technical side. Let's say you've learned a sequence like, right? Once you've had that sequence down, it's really cool, but you can't use it until you reach the point where you can go. Right? You need to say, okay, what other sequences do I know, and how do I transition from this sequence to another sequence? And you just make stuff up, basically. That's the whole, it's a playful process where you construct little licks by combining 2 sequences. Let me do that in another place here. Right? Let's say I have these 2 sequences, very classical. Right, you go. And then I have my... Right, I'm practicing those forever. And then I go... That's just 4 notes of the first sequence. Can I jump from that and into... Yeah, totally. I can just go... Oh, another scale there in the middle of it. And then I play around with it. Every time I come up with a little combo, like... I practice it over and over again, like another combo. Right? So that's one way of integrating the actual sequence and the picking. I could also take like a lick. Let's say I've learned a lick that goes like... Right? I don't want to stop there because all I can do then is say, okay, let me play this lick. And I'm just that's gonna be exactly the same every time I use it in a solo. I want to be able to go... Right? Start combining it with my sequence. Right? Or combine it with another lick like... Right? And you might think, how do I combine these things? You just combine them. Doesn't matter how many notes there are. Just skip the whole, have to compose something that's equally in time, has to have 16 notes in it. Just go from one to the other. Doesn't matter. Go from one to the... Like... Right? Go from lick to lick, combine, bridging all the time. Right? Another way. Right? Keep doing it. And every time you come up with a new combo, we practice it 10, 20 times, come up with a new combo, continue like that. Until this little thing is totally merged into everything else. So I can go... Right? Oh. I can just break it up, play parts of it, combine it with other things. That's a creative process. And as you do this, you become better and better at it, and you become faster and faster until the point where you... She's just doing it real time, no hesitation. Okay, that's licks, right? Then there might be a technique you want to integrate with another. And so you simply just design a little exercise you can do, preferably loopable when it's techniques, that has both techniques in it. For instance, alternate picking, you can play 6 notes on 2 strings, right? So you basically play like 10, 12, and 13 on both the B and the E string. You might have practiced this forever. And then you design an exercise. Perhaps you've been practicing with hammer-ons and pull-offs. And you just say, okay, is there any way I can... Okay, I could play all alternate picking on the first string, hit the first note on the next, and then do hammer-ons and pull-offs. And then go... So I can play 6 notes up and down, but have almost all of the notes on the second string be hammer-ons and pull-offs. See, suddenly I have that bridge, I'm practicing going from one to the other, and I can use that every single time I'm doing something alternate picky. Right, so... And then suddenly I'm in legato. See, again... See, I only need one way of integrating, just 3 notes, and then the next string is legato, right? How do I come back from legato to alternate picking? Well, I'm also practicing that when I'm practicing this little lick, right? Because when I go down to the next string, it's alternate picking. So that shift there is just in that little lick. This is so powerful because you don't have to do much. In order to get really huge results. How about scale shapes? Well, we often, we learn one shape and say we're using the C minor pentatonic here. But we know that if you're playing like a bluesy over a bluesy track, like that I can use the major scale 1 whole step below the root note of C, and that gives me the Dorian mode or minor. And then I can mix the blues scale with that scale. Right? But I need to practice it. I need to practice going in blues scale, using a couple of Dorian notes, and back into the blues scale, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right? Designing a little exercise, a little lick that does both. Okay? And then I also know that I can combine this minor pentatonic with the major scale, one minor third above. So that would be the E flat major scale. That gives me the natural minor, the C natural minor. So this is practical theory applied to actual exercises of how to combine these 2 scales. It gives me another sound. It's like... It's more melodic rock, you could say, based on the natural minor. Right, so I go. See, there I combined alternate picking with legato and the minor pentatonic with the natural minor. And you don't have to do many of these exercises. You just have to really focus somewhere, right? Focus on the first position minor pentatonic with the natural minor scale and the Dorian minor. Go look up resources to do this and then start integrating all the time, one with the other until you develop that fluency. Just a little example here. In the beginner or more simple realm, if you practice 1 chord, right? It's a totally different story going from the C major chord to the G than going from D to G, right? Because the movement in between the chords, we see 1 chord as, learning to put your fingers, like, okay, now I can do the C, now I can do the G. But you don't see that this is one way of traveling from one chord to another. And you can be very good at that integrative movement here from one to the other. It's like a path, right? And that path is totally different if you're playing a D to the G, right? The fingers has to do another movement all from the D minor to the G. It's a different thing. But we don't see that, so we only practice the chords, and then we wonder why we have to go, excuse me. Oh, sorry. But, it's integration, right? So what you need to do is you need to go, okay, that's the C to the G. Then I need to go D, G. E minor, G. Go from one to the other. And I promise you, if you do this enough, it's not like you have to spend an equal amount of time integrating all chords back and forth, because your brain gets better at the flexibility of coming from a new place to an old place. Once, the more you do it. So you do it 2-3 times, and then suddenly you can go from all chords to all chords, because you have that integration, in your brain. Right? So that's how it works. Let me see, can I come up with it's rhythms as well, right? One thing is that you can go, right? You can go, or you can go, right? That's one thing, but can you go from, right? It's every rhythm you have to integrate it with another rhythm, and then you really get the power to combine them. That's the whole skill of rhythm, right? One thing is to learn each rhythm or learn how to hit these subdivisions in a special way. Another is to actually go from one way of hitting the subdivisions, which is a rhythm, to another, right? Right? It's so rewarding to integrate, because it doesn't take that much time compared to learning each individual chord shape, each individual scale shape, each individual technique. So if you haven't been spending much time integrating, this will really, really give you progress. So you don't need a golden plan to start using this. Just start the process of integrating whatever you feel the most excited about, and just start doing this every single day. Whenever you learn something, learn a lick, integrate it with something else, then something else, then something new, right? Learn a new technique, integrate it with all the other techniques. Come up with little exercises you can do that can bridge from one thing to another. And I promise you, your playing will just transform really quickly. And also, go check out our new program. It's all about a special practice method that I used in order to really make sense when I was soloing. It's going to give you the power to, with very little tools, if you only know one scale shape and has, simple picking down, you can still play like a pro. It's not about all the fancy techniques. Those are luxury you can add on later to what really works. And we're going to create that base, that core of what really works. So go check out that program. We got a link just below this video. Also other links that you can visit and sign up, and Instagram and all kinds of stuff. See you in the next video. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.